So hello everyone, back live here I hope, Thursday evening, so Clavichord evening. I'm just adjusting here my screen so I can see you in the chat and I can see if everything goes well, because we had again some issues. I thought everything was solved with the streaming thing, but it of course, I was testing it this afternoon and that was fine, and just for 50 minutes before the live stream started, of course, things happen, but I hope everything will be okay. So we're live streaming just with these two microphones. As last week, I thought the quality of the sound and my voice was okay. So, and that's a rather easy setup. So, as always, let's hang out a little bit here for the first 5 minutes, say hello to you. And for those who watch this in the replay, so we're going to practice the Sinfonias as we will do for the next 2 weeks. And typically we try to start, or I try to start to playing really after welcoming the people in the live stream at about 5 minutes. And then at the end of the live stream, we dive into your questions or just hang out for a little bit to finish in about an hour. So that's the plan at least. Okay, Kostas is here, great, our Greek friend and composer. Sina, great to have you. Kirk Wamet, hope I pronounced your name correct. Andre, great that you're here, and thank you for your help this week with the live stream, but I was telling Andre everything was fine, and so I was happy until 15 minutes now, but I think it's okay still. Hi Clouds, Emmy is here. And then Sini Mod 621, Basilios, always great to see you. Hugh Man Wright and Kenneth Nicol, great to have you here. So this will be a very one-of-a-kind live stream in a way that I will be practicing as always this week, as still these weeks are really busy for me. I have meetings outside the house, so that takes a lot of time, and practicing is something of really a luxury these weeks. And so literally the last time I sat at the Clavichord was together with you 1 week ago. So what you will hear is me practicing, going through the Sinfonias that we finished a few weeks ago with making fingerings. But I'm going through the other Sinfonias that we finished, or we prepared actually, we practiced a few years ago. And I'll do that very slowly, as if you weren't here, which is true, but virtually you of course are. And the thing is that I should learn to prevent myself from performing for you, so that I am practicing really as I am practicing, as if I would be totally on myself. And today might be a very special or one-of-a-kind experience, because with all the things that are going on, the plans that we have, it's exciting, but sometimes you don't sleep very well then. So this night was really a very short night, and typically for playing music, that's not a bad thing, because it's weird, but I think that the parts of your brain that are necessary to make music are the ones that need the least sleep. It's very funny that to say, but I have really that impression. But if you don't know the music very well, then you need your eye-hand coordination really to be very accurate, and that's challenging today. I can see that reading is sometimes a little bit slower, so I will deal with that, or try to deal with that, because once you dive into a certain subject or topic, or just practicing, or do whatever, concentration, when you build your concentration up, your focus really, my impression is that you can overcome certain lacks of energy. So we'll see how that goes, but I just wanted to say that to you, that if I would make very weird mistakes, it's a matter of my eyes that are just a little bit too lazy. That happens. By the way, when we recorded the partitas, and it's a few years ago, I will have some plans and some announcements very soon to make about the partitas, the Bach partitas. some of the best recording sessions literally were those where I felt like a zombie. You know, we all have those nights, you know, that at 3 a.m. you wake up and, well, yeah, nothing happens anymore. But those, I remember those sessions that I was really struggling through the day to the recording session, and once recording, everything went perfect. And the reason partly, I think, is because you let things go more than when you are really on top of the game. And sometimes in playing music, that's really a good thing. But of course, for the partitas, I managed those works technically very well. Here, I still don't want to overdo things because I want to have all notes with my fingerings and prepared very well before I let the music go. Okay, so Dag is here, KMG24, always nice to see you. Let Daniel Zeppelin, scrolling a little bit back here, bit back here. John is here and J.S.Bach is here. Wow, that's an honor, Mr. Bach. Okay. Oh, here is the chat. Hugo Russo, hope I pronounce your name correct. Don't know if I have to pronounce it in French or in English. So Hugo Russo is also possible. Tucker Tours. Okay. About recording, is a question by Tucker Tours. You can go on my channel. I have some videos on recording. These are two AKGs 3000. Those are not my normal microphones. Are hanging over there in that red back. Okay, so last week there was a question really at the end for the A major, and I thought, why not starting with that? It's been a while. It's a beautiful piece, so I started very slow, and again I'll try to be as relaxed as possible, not performing too soon because there are two microphones that are capturing everything I do, and that's a weird thing when you hang microphones above an instrument. Things happen, and I have made now around 200 music recordings for YouTube, and each time it's the same thing. Those microphones act as a certain, it's a hate-love relationship, because sometimes beautiful things happen, but keeping it relaxed as if they weren't there is, I think, for many musicians and artists very challenging. But now I will try to forget about it. Okay, there we go. So very slow. It's not about tempo. It's not about anything. It's just a practicing session. In a few weeks or whenever we feel ready by I don't know when that will be. I had the idea. Some people ask me to check my tempi with Czerny, of which I have the original editions here, was a gift from Lorenz Gradient. I will not check those tempi as I'm yet, as I would certainly with Bach follow my, well, instinct, you could say. You develop, of course, a certain way of playing also within the framework of what we talk about tempo ordinario and things like that. So there will be a kind of check of the tempi I develop, but I let them develop as they develop. I think that's also very important to do. Sometimes it's really interesting. You could die to just have a tempo indication of someone else. It can be a colleague, or it can be a musician that you know, or can be someone from the past, which is of course fascinating on its own. But I was thinking, just let us finish these sinfonias for a few weeks, and maybe over the course of the next 2 months, I don't know, maybe we do other live streams at the Clavichord about the Sinfonias. And when we have the feeling, and you and I have the feeling, or I have the feeling, we have the feeling that they are ready or kind of ready, we will have a session. That was the plan that I had this afternoon, just metronomizing all my Sinfonias, and then take this the Czerny and see what Mr. Czerny makes of it. So I promise you, you cannot check, but I won't cheat not to look into Czerny before we are at that point. So, hope that's cool for you. There we go with the A major. Pizzicato on the bass is very nice, eh, John? So you do that by releasing very gentle I try to demonstrate the difference between not gentle and gentle release. And with a little bit softer release. It feels like this note is rounder, so it gently leads to the other note, even while it's kind of pizzicato. So you will notice that the music, as you hear it, is much more introverted. It's not yet speaking, so to say, to you as an audience listening. So you hope you can be drawn into this introvert way of looking to the music. So sometimes it feels like I hesitate a little bit, but then I am actually listening to a voice that I don't want to miss, or hear something, or there is some tension that I notice somewhere in left or right hand that I want to get rid of before continuing. And that's what I mean by just practicing and not performing, because if you would perform this piece right now, if I would have to do that, of course I would try to overcome those things and not pay attention to them, because then the rhythm should be a little bit more fluent and things like that. So that's just saying. There are some unbelievable harmonic changes also here, and certainly in this passage. It's such a beautiful, and it's not so strange, but the way he presents that is strong. So here we come from E major. We go to F sharp minor, I think. Again to E major. And then sharp, and this is C sharp major or minor. I mean, it's all going with dominant chords to a kind of modulation circle, but it's not so strange, but in a way it feels powerful. So certainly the D flat, and I'm just expressing now the things that I hear and I feel. So the D flat changes everything. Like here you have the impression like it's open, it's a blue sky. The D flat is really powerful, and then the D flat leads to this a really open question too. Beautiful. Okay, complex middle voice here. You have this so you, and then. But at the same time, the right hand goes. So it goes in the opposite direction, and the left hand, of course, is not much of help to the middle voice. So the right hand needs to take over here. So the left hand needs to take over here on the G sharp. So A, while the right hand has an articulation or kind of phrasing, but the left hand hasn't. So this must sound like a scale that is not interrupted, while during the transition on that 16th note the right hand has an articulation. So that's no surprise, it's meant to be difficult by Bach, and you can of course overplay that or not do that, but then you miss this kind of polyphonic structure that for your audience becomes clear. Oh, here you have a voice, there you have a voice, that's the theme. So all those small things, those are the things that makes it interesting or a little bit boring sometimes. And that you can have that with these polyphonic pieces, that it's interesting from a compositional standpoint, but there's not so much as a listener, you know, and suddenly someone plays and I say, oh my God, this is interesting. With the Kunst der Fuge, so the art of fugue, you have that. Sometimes it's really long and sometimes you sit there and an hour is, I mean, it's nothing then. So it's all these little things, that's the difference. So while the left hand is taking over, da, 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 dee, tom, you have this thing, beautiful syncopation. Tom, chi, rom, tom. And now that's possible. So in this bar, about everything that you need to manage to do in the partitas is there, and I think sometimes in a more difficult way. One of the most difficult bars I know. Okay. This was a kind of nonsense. Oh yeah, some people ask me if I don't have, well, I am sitting on the clavichord, you know, I'm going down, so my back is really in a bad position, my neck even worse. And so for those of you who have gone through my keyboard course, I'm doing all the things wrong that I'm describing there that you should do different. So don't repeat that, I would say. For me, it's never been a problem, because for this music, it's technically not easy, but it's not like playing a Chopin etude, regardless in double beat or not. But anyway, it's not a good practice, but if you manage to be relaxed while playing, Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm too tall for playing the clavichord, that's the problem. So let's try to stick into a right position now. Okay. So notice how the three voices came together really beautifully, and I don't know what I did. So let's try to figure out. Normal A. Okay, let's try to have this sound like a little bit of a dialogue, because I think that's what's happening here between the upper voice and the middle voice. Okay. So there is nothing that you can do about the left hand, because the left hand is running its own notes. I mean, you can... So the right hand has very little possibility to make a little bit of, I wouldn't say a pause, but well, a kind of accent of just a timing. Let's try it too. That's better. So I do something with the left hand now, and so I'm contradicting myself in 30 seconds, so that's great. So the left hand is posing now, is giving the right, so the upper voices a little bit of a room. Now. It's too much, but you see the point. Hearing the left hand really singing, because it's the introduction to a new theme entrance. will do now is just play it a few times without interrupting myself and see how this develops. So that's something I do often, and I like to do, just playing the piece again and again and again. I sometimes even record it that way, because you start to like it, as if the piece has an eternal repeat sign, you know. And it's good for you, because then you get really in the flow of the tempo. Tempo develops. I mean, the tempo now, not in according to metronome numbers. That's not what we're talking about. You bring everything into a certain balance then. And sometimes even from the middle of the piece, start over again, and then skip certain parts to see if certainly your movement or tempo is stable, because that's really important, obviously. see it's developing now. So I'm happy with that. So for now, I was thinking if you would like me to, let's see the time here, if you have a favorite next one, just let me know in the comment section, and if I don't see it, Anya will repeat it. See it in the chat as well. So basically you can do from 1 to 15 every, and I haven't looked for years in some, but that's not a problem. So if you have one of the symphonies that you would like to do me next time, then just let me know. I do it one more time, and so. So you have this rhythm that yum bum 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 da da yum da da dee da, and so from this movement of a circle, we've talked about that long time ago. Actually, it has been a long time. So you have the tension that you build on a certain note. So here you have a note that is a little bit longer than one counter, and so how long to wait actually, because that's a rhythm here. There's a little bit of tempo fluctuation, maybe not real tempo fluctuation like tempo rubato, but still there is a little bit pushy, and then it's holding back. That's kind of one of the fun rhythmical things. So if you think from a circular movement, like actually you would conduct. You don't conduct like that. You would conduct a little bit like so. Then there is circle is a perfect movement because you can go down. So every time you hit the ground or the top, so to say, of that circle or ellipse, whatever, you have a kind of freedom of energy to use, in fact, not to stand still, because by definition you cannot stand still while you are in a circular movement. The movement, or the way a football, if you throw it in the air, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it goes slower, and so you can calculate way from before when the football is going to come to a halt, where there is not really a moment that it feels like that football is hanging in the air, yet it is. There is a moment where it's not going up and it's not going down, yet you don't feel it as such. And it's going up, 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 it comes to, and then it goes down again, and it goes a little bit faster, and then it bounces up again. So you can play with this energy, and this piece is a really good example for that. So for me now, this has to develop, and I leave it for now. I'm just looking at the chat if you have a number, and if not, I just jump to a random piece, because I have to scroll back. Okay, let's just go to another one. If you don't have a preferred one, so you have G minor, G major. That's something I do often. Just go back and forth in music, and I typically not practice an hour for the same piece. I actually normally never play or practice really an hour. These sessions are great for me because I am practicing a little bit longer than normal. I tend to practice 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then do something else and come back. And things develop in your head. That's the great thing about doing it intensively. So, C minor we had last week. Okay, let's here try E major, number 6. Just do it very slowly, because this has been a while. Okay, so what I'm doing now is reading carefully that I hit all of that I make to make sure that I have all the fingerings, that I play all the fingerings that are written down. Try to be as relaxed as possible. Try to find a certain tempo in which I can do all these things. So read in advance that I know what's coming, not only which notes, but also the fingerings, and that I can reach those notes in the most relaxed way. So not thinking at all about interpretation. The only thing, make an as beautiful sound as possible. Typically that's rather easy, because if you're relaxed, the instrument will sound in a normal, pleasant way most of the times. Somehow this feels more familiar. Perhaps I have played this in the last couple of weeks, I don't know. So there are some difficult jumps here, by the way. So let's try it again. very strange ending, by the way. So this is for me also a tempo guide. So this needs time, and then with 16 notes at the end, beautiful piece. And I have this E flat major with all these ornaments that, You know, for the symphonias and the inventions, there are a lot of different versions. Partly in Bach's handwriting. I have made a video on that long time ago. Should redo that, but you can find it. I think I could present it a little bit better than I did back in the days, but the information is there, and this one is overloaded with ornaments. As if I think it was a kind of exercise to see how many ornaments or on what notes, what the possibilities are to choose from, rather than play them all. Just let's try it. Again, slow. So it has been longer. Just beautiful, this contrast between the left hand ta, pa, 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 and the right hand, this sweet dialogue actually between those two voices. It's gentle in a way, and that's hard to describe, and the left hand is always there. Pom, pom, pom. So timing is of the essence here. Pa, pa, pom. So you shouldn't have the impression that the right hand or the upper voices are waiting for the bass note to have its. I mean, you have to accentuate the upper note, da 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 ja. And so you do that also by making it a little bit longer, but it continues. It's hanging in it. I mean, it's in each other, waving. How you say that? Interconnected, connected, so to say. Let's try it again. like those. You have the feeling this could continue forever. Actually, it's such a nice movement. So let's see a little bit here. Oh, it's already 5:25 past 9. Okay, time flies. Okay, let me just turn the microphone a little bit here. I can sit a little bit closer to the chat. So 1 hour of Bach playing, and it's full of energy. Okay, Nathan, this was the fifth one. The fifth one, an E flat major. Mike, it's really hard to make the ornament sound organically part of it. It's true, and yeah, that's the difficult. And so on clavichord with in this key, which is E flat major, but you have all these chords that require you a little bit to go in between the, well, here the white keys, the black keys, so to say. Now that's difficult. And then just listen to them, I would say. Yeah, on violin. That don't make me jealous, because that's what we are imitating, of course, here. The possibilities you have on a violin or as a singer, that's compared to a keyboard instrument, it's endless. Because you can hold the note much longer, and during the note make dynamic differences. You can do that on the clavichord at the beginning and while playing, and you hear that. Although it's not, I doubt if you really can measure that, but you feel that. So you can bring this, you can take that note and bring the tension of it to the next one. C.P.E. Bach has a term for that. But I don't recall that, what that is. But yeah, on the violin, that would be great. Andy is here. Great. It's very late for you, I guess. No, it's early for you. I'm a little bit confused to the east or west or whatever. Anyway. And we always warm up to these by practicing. Well, yeah, never play too cold if your fingers are too cold. No. Yeah, Mike, you're talking about the ornaments. Yeah, so, well, I should have to rewatch my own video here, which would be weird to really, I forgot a little bit all these chords. We have one of the 20s, and you have one of a copy by a student of Bach, You have 4 copies, if I remember well, and they're all from... No, one is later, it's like in the 70s, but then you have the early one that has some additional ornaments that are in different ink, and they don't really know if it's Bach, but yeah, there's no sign that, oh no, I mean, there is... it could be Bach, and in fact you can find these facsimiles online. It's really interesting. But this heavily ornamented piece is one of the most elaborated pieces in that bundle, and simply it's not possible, I think, to play all the ornaments. So they might stem from Bach, but yeah, it's not really sure, as I have understood. There is a book by Neumann. Looking at my bookshelf now, but it's upstairs, I think. I reorganized everything. It certainly is upstairs. I show you that book in that video. It's a big red book, and perhaps there are other versions as well. That's really a great book for Bach and ornamentation. Not that you'll find all the answers there, but you have all the information there to make up your mind. So... KMG writes, it's always a pleasure to listen along to you, that's great. Hope to learn piano soon and clavichord in the future. Yeah. You should start with clavichord and then go to piano. But that's probably hard to do. It's great to read that you have such a great time in the chat. That's a great thing about these live streams too. I mean, the chat is a community thing. I hear a door upstairs. This might be Anya coming down, you see. So now we have to be careful what we're saying. Anya's listening. I'm just reading your chat in case you're watching the video later. There is my beautiful wife, Anya.
Hello, everybody.
Was everybody behaving in the chat?
Yes.
Yeah?
They did.
Good,
There's a
good
question.
boys and girls.
Yeah, I'm coughing now.
Anya's
There's
coughing.
a question about Dr. Dave, about ornamentation. It's a buff.
Might have been easier to write the question.
Yes, but then they start chat. Wait.
I'm scrolling, Anya's reading. She'll find it.
No. No, it's too high.
Oh, Dr. Dave.
Dr. Dave, yeah.
So back 5,000 lines.
It's
and
more
now
difficult
scrolling back.
here than upstairs.
Talking about
No, that's not. You have scrolled here. That was the one.
Yeah. I answered that while you all coming down from the stairs. So you see,
that's
you
different.
have the perfect husband. I anticipate the questions you have for me. So
now I have to say yes.
no, but it's true. I mean, that's a fact, huh? You know, facts are facts, and you know me. Yeah. So yeah, the ornamentation of the symphonias and the inventions is really cool to study. It's really interesting, and I promise you to make that video again. But in the meantime, I think that that video that I have out there about this is giving you quite the complete information. Okay, don't know if I'm okay. May contain joy. Hello, Wim. Hello, you. So, okay. Guys, I thank you for being here with me, for practicing these symphonias, and we will do that quite sometimes more, I promise. I will inform you soon about the Bach Partitas project, because we have figured out finally what to do. It's a huge project, but we actually finished only now the Pachelbel project, It's on CD Baby, which is a distributor. You can find it on Amazon now, on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube Music. I don't know how many services, so
Yeah.
it's too much. So actually, part of the CDs are in their warehouse, and they're taking care of the distribution and the even shipping. We're doing that also for the signed copy, so things are developing in that way. And then I have news about the Beethoven project. I actually came to a complete list of the pieces that I want to practice. Not practice, record, of course. And one of the things that I can tell you right now, because I don't have the list here with me, otherwise I would show you the A3 list. If it's somewhere around here, I don't know where it is. One of the things that I decided is that to use the Clavichord and the Frenzel and the Fritz pianoforte, that's so 3 instruments. We'll see how that is possible on the same CD, mix the Clavichord with the pianoforte, but I think it's possible if we master the CD very well, the recording, so that there is not too much difference in volume. And I think that when we manage to do that we can have the 3 instruments. And so a lot of the variations of Beethoven, which he still made in the 18th century, so in this explosion of inspiration at the end of the 18th century, where, I mean, 50% of his sonatas were composed before 1803, so really early. So in this period, they are so nice on Clavichord. And so why not include these pieces on Clavichord? Moreover, if you play those works like these early variations on the pianoforte, I don't know, I have the feeling they lose somewhat of tension, so musical tension. So I'm looking really forward to that. 60 works over 21 CDs, and we plan, as for now, to release them over the course of 5 years in 7 boxes of 3 CDs. But that's a huge project, and that's just a plan. Well, you have to start with the plan, and then the next thing is do the first thing of that plan, and then before you know it, you're 5 years further, and everything has been done. So hopefully, if we stay healthy, that's the okay. Yeah, and the Bach partitas, I will make some videos for you informing on that. There's lots of things to say. Okay, I thank you again for being here. If you would like to support these live streams, there is a link to our Patreon site. That's always great to have you there. We have monthly hangouts. Our next one is actually on Saturday. So if you would like to try us out, that would be very nice, and always happy to know you a little bit better. And these monthly hangouts on Patreon, they are really cool for that. So, and for the next live stream, we will see each other on Monday, sitting back at the piano, doing the minuet of the first sonata, and then on Wednesday and so on, we will have some other videos. So we'll see each other a lot of times again. So thank you again, and see you soon again. Bye.